It's great seeing everybody, both new friends and old former colleagues and people I've met in the past. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Lee. I'm the VP of Pricing Strategy and Product Operations at HubSpot. I've been at HubSpot for a little over a year, or just a little under a year. And today, there's obviously, we can talk about many, many things. But today I'm going to just talk a little bit about HubSpot, the business context, why we, by necessity and also by choice, we have a bimodal business strategy that blends product-led growth and sales-led growth, this SLG. What are kind of some of the tactics and specifically around pricing and packaging that we use to enable that strategy? And what are the challenges that comes with like running a bimodal strategy that's supposedly designed to scale from a one-person company to a 2,000 plus person company? And then finally, at this moment in time, what are the challenges of evolving that for the AI era? Just like everybody, every company out there in software, AI is disrupting everything. It's creating new revenue mechanism or new value axes that everyone's attempting to monetize. So to dive in, I'll just HubSpot by the numbers, I think is probably the best way to kind of understand the context of HubSpot. We have almost 270,000 customers. Majority of them is under 25 employees, but we also have many large customers that have over 500 or over 1,000 employees. We have customers paying us less than $1,000 a month, sometimes less than $100 a month. And we have companies paying us $1 million a year, have $1 million plus contracts. We're a multi-product, multi-platform company, really becoming this platform company. I'll kind of show how that looks in the next slide. But we're on, this year we're on about a $3 billion run rate. And then with about an 18% revenue growth and an 18% operating margin, which is operating just under the rule of 40. So this is kind of HubSpot at a glance. What's interesting here is I'll just kind of put you guys on the 270,000 customers number. That really defines HubSpot and really defines the strategy. When you have 270,000 customers in a company with about 8,000 employees, 9,000 employees, there's no way we'll touch every single one of these customers. So PLG is not a choice, it's a necessity. It's something that to serve small business, we have to start with scale, start with self-serve. And as you can see, as we kind of ramp up and went up market, a lot of that sales assist and that sales-led motion really starts to come into play. So how do we get here? How did HubSpot grew the monetization, and what was our monetization journey? HubSpot was started in the mid-2000s when we were the leader in kind of what we now call inbound marketing. We launched Marketing Hub for marketing email automation. And just like many single product software company, we were a single hub. We launched a subscription, and that was it. And then, over time, there were some iterations. We decided, and there were some changes. Marketing Hub primarily today is monetized on a flat fee subscription with a scalable motion based on the number of email contacts you have. Which you could even think of that as kind of a hybrid motion, but the email contacts is effectively a proxy of usage. It's not directly tied to how many emails sent, but it's a proxy of the value that is done. It is a scalable mapping. And then over time, just like many companies that started as a single product company, eventually became a multi-product company, and eventually now becomes a platform. The pricing model and the business model really started evolving as well, right? From a single hub selling a single subscription to when we launched Sales Hub and the CRM, it now has subscription and seats. Now, you have these interesting bundling of volume discounts to, moving into kind of the 2017, 2018 when we launched additional new hubs. Then we have suites bundle, right? So all of a sudden it becomes packaging a suite, kind of a suite-based packaging exercise of how we try to monetize. And then you can see kind of around 2024, 2020, really last year or the year before when we kind of start having CRMs and some of the other things, really becoming that full customer platform, having that platform sales motion, and that really changes things. It's no longer about selling a bundle, but really trying to pitch the full platform monetization. And that's where we have seats, we have hybrid, we have kind of a base fee. So again, sort of what many other speakers before me was saying, that like the old model doesn't go away. We keep stacking more and more on top. And now, as we're kind of like entering this AI era, now we're now pitching ourselves as this agentic customer platform. We're really having to lean into this hybrid model, the seats, credits, we also have a small payment business as well. So the bundling or the packaging strategy also start changing. It's now not about buying SKUs. It's about selling use cases, because credits in and of itself is meaningless. It has to be tied to use cases and consumption. And it's no longer, because of the complexity of these pricing, a new abstraction layer is needed, right? So we're now going to we'll talk about leaning into kind of in this next wave, leaning into more in the buying program kind of motion. Some of monetization philosophy, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just kind of maybe pick out 3. HubSpot have always had a business promise that we will deliver value before we monetize. Now, I would kind of put an asterisk to that, because in the world of AI, as other folks have said, that's no longer completely feasible. But internally, we really have, we keep that as a core tenet. We want to deliver value before we monetize. Yamini talks about that at every analyst day. So from a pricing strategy perspective, what that means for us is that if we want to keep doing that, we need to do it with high degree of intention and high degree of understanding of where to cost and like how much we're willing to give away, how much value we want to deliver, and how we inject monetization at the right time. So it's not that we don't want to deliver value before we monetize, but more now we have to think really clearly, like basically think 3 steps ahead instead of like, let's launch and see what happens, and then kind of iterate. We have because of kind of the market segment we serve, especially majority, 50+% of our customers are under 25 employees. We want to enable that choice and flexibility. We have a very complex platform. We understand not every customers are going to use everything. So the pricing model, and as we've shown, is designed to allow sort of many path customers to choose their own journey. That flexibility has helped HubSpot grow, and it actually helps enable PLG. But that complexity, as the company grows and as the platform becomes more sophisticated, creates challenges in scaling. And actually, I'll show in the next couple slides how that actually hinders PLG at scale. And the last thing I'll say is that we also have a core principle internally to kind of commoditize consistently, basically disrupt ourselves. We want to consistently kind of like, build and bring enterprise scale and enterprise level value down to the small business. HubSpot is obsessed with small business. Internally, we call these, our ICP, we call them Growth Gabby. Growth Gabbies are kind of like this idealized small business kind of like owner that's out there kind of at the leading edge, innovating, trying new things. And we are obsessed about providing Growth Gabby with value. The bimodal and go-to-market strategy provides a kind of a strong competitive advantage. Like we covers everything from, again, 1 to 2,000 employees. It gives us that balance. It gives us that scale and that large perspective on delivering value to everybody. But also creates challenges. We don't have the luxury of segment focus. If you look at next slides, I'll actually really talk about kind of how we think about segments because of the breadth of the market we cover. It's impossible to kind of do verticalized segments at HubSpot. It's just not possible. And as mentioned before, with 270,000 customers, like PLG is a necessity. Self-service is a necessity, it's not an option. 90+% of our customers will never talk to a customer success agent. Most customers will maybe have a single or maybe 2 conversations with a salesperson to just answer questions, which we're hoping to automate with customer agents. Our success in going up market, now we're selling more to the 500 plus employee type, for enterprise customers, enterprise SaaS, that's considered mid-market, but for HubSpot, that's considered the upper market. That's also putting pricing on our go-to-market. Like, when you have a pricing model optimized for selling to, small businesses, sole proprietor, when the CEO and the head of marketing, head of sales, and like the head of services is the same person, that's a very different kind of like sales pitch, go-to-market motion than selling to a 500 plus employee company that has a real procurement department, that has a legal team that wants to do a review, that has that expects volume discounts, right? So how do we do that? We do that through our pricing and packaging. So as mentioned, because of kind of the business of HubSpot, because of the breadth and the type of like businesses we cover, it's almost impossible to think about like verticalization. We have internally some kind of large segments that we care about, but internally, kind of from an organization perspective, we just think of, okay, small business, 1 to 25 employees, mid-size, approximately 26 to about 200, and then what we call a corporate segment, which is 200 plus employee type businesses. And broadly speaking, the small business is mostly self-serve, a little bit of sales assist, a little bit of conversation, but mostly kind of like a self-service, do your own thing. And then as we get up to the corporate customers where they're paying, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, that's when you get to a more sales-led or really more of a sales-led type of engagement motion. And all of this is supported by our packaging strategy, how we package HubSpot. I'm not going to get into all the different hubs because that's, you can all go read it at our website. We organize our product line by hubs, sales hub, marketing hubs, content hubs, et cetera. But our packaging strategy is really how like a lot of these is really enabled. At the very bottom, we have the free tools. That's a demand gen funnel. That's what our growth team really focus on. The growth team under product really focus on that. And their goal is really about self-service activation and then conversion, really getting within the product, create like levers and hooks to help get them convert and activate it. And once they're activated, the goal is to get them to starter. The starter edition of HubSpot has a very different pricing and licensing mechanics than kind of the pro and enterprise. Starter is dead simple pricing, $9 a month per user, low price, high value. Again, the goal here is we want people to convert and like get into this on their own. Because of the low price, the high value that we deliver. It's optimized for velocity and deal volume. It's really about getting these customers in, get them to try, get them to activate, getting to start paying and realizing value. And then, it's kind of funny because a lot of business, when we think land and expand, is about landing on the lowest tier. HubSpot is really about landing in the pro tier. Like starter is really kind of like that. It's that landing funnel to get from like the free tool to starter, get the customers really in the door. The real land and expand is really at the pro level. The pricing jump from starter to pro is actually quite high, and that is one of the issues with kind of having this bimodal strategy of trying to scale a business model from that serves a 1 to 2 person employee to thousands. And at the pro level, it's about choice and flexibility. Like at the pro level, we start breaking things apart. It's really about creating that mini upgrade path, that flexibility, giving customers the choice and the sales team the ability to land with marketing, land with sales, land with CRM, land with these different use cases. So opening that choice and flexibility at pro levels, that's kind of where the real money kind of starts coming in. And then finally, when we get to the enterprise level, the name of the game is really about consolidations, because once you land the pro level, it's about kind of driving that, kind of getting them customers to land, and then we expand horizontally across different use cases. And finally, at the enterprise level, we drive the platform. We start telling the platform story. So that's kind of like the pricing packaging model at a glance of how that supports both SLG to PLG. As that goes up, the MRR and the ARR goes up, and then and that lends itself to a more sustainable CAC LTV to allow more sales support. The model's not perfect. There are dramatic trade-offs. One is that because of that land expand and that many choices, flexibility, it creates a lot of pricing complexity. Like HubSpot, honestly, I'm not proud to say it, but like we're pretty complex, our pricing. We have multiple SKUs to execute some use cases. We have too many decisions customers need to buy. If customers are coming in and just wants to buy the platform, it's like they're just, it's like just playing 20 questions to buy HubSpot. There are a lot of high price barriers, right? There's high ASP to get started on Pro Plus. There's a big pricing gap from starter to Pro to Enterprise. The list price for starter suite is $9 per user. Marketing Hub Pro is $800 a month. Like that's a huge price jump. So that is something that is that makes, again, that it hinders the PL. Like because of that price jump, you almost need a salesperson to go sell the value. You cannot do a PLG of that, and that's something we're trying to work with consumption pricing, trying to solve. It creates sales and procurement friction. Again, I've mentioned like the pricing mechanics of how we sell to small business and what large enterprise needs are completely different. And like there's no one size, you cannot have one size fits all. The pricing model that fits a 2-person company is not going to fit a 500-person employee. So how do we kind of get around that? And then everyone who's done this before, had a hybrid model or bimodal model, understands whenever you have PLG and SLG living together in the same roof, there is always going to be incentive challenges. There's incentive between conflict between the growth team and the sales team. There's incentive challenge within the sales team between kind of when do you bring sales in, how do you activate them the right way. There's incentive challenges between sales and partners, and because they now also is not just the conflict between these two internal external functions, but also now that they have to confront the self-service motion as well that they're also implicitly competing with. And then finally, I don't want to kind of discount this because the current pricing motion at HubSpot also does not naturally lend itself to AI monetization. HubSpot, again, because we grew up in the SaaS era, much of the pricing mechanics and systems weren't built for kind of this like pay for work kind of usage value scaling. We have had a hybrid pricing model for many, many years, but a lot of the pricing, the hybridized pricing levers were proxies of usage, not really real usage, right? So kind of converting that and really driving that is important. So what are we doing? Like, as we get into the AI era where we have to monetize the value of work, we are doing a couple things. We are really leaning into the hybrid pricing model. It's the right it's the right point for us. We have internally debated very rigorously about outcome-based pricing. The challenge with outcome-based pricing in a platform company is that the variability and of outcome compounds and exponentially based on the number of products and the permutation of products that customer consumes. So that becomes really hard to kind of just like put a price on it. You're going to end up being, to really do outcome and value-based pricing in that context, you're talking about custom contracts for every customer, which is not going to work. We're using, we just revamped, we launched a seat-based model 2 years ago, really kind of like start ramping it last year. We launched a credit system last year, and we revamped it this year, and now we rebranded from Breeze Credit to HubSpot Credits because the intent of that credit is for kind of every usage axis at HubSpot to be that fungible consumption tokens. And we're going to be leaning into that to drive, to really reduce the price complexity of our product and use that to try to dramatically simplify the pricing and go-to-market motion. And we're also going to be trying to use that to lower that price barrier to with usage pricing and credits to, again, try to like reduce that gap. And then we're also exploring, again, like that bimodal strategy now that we have this, we really want to maintain that focus on small business, but really also must do better to capture value for really upmarket is becoming a much more important segment for us. We have to figure out how to differentiate that. We can't differentiate with our pricing model, but it's at the point where the company has to start layering additional we want to create that differentiation through a different lever. So a lot of that levers will be coming from kind of the different pricing programs that many companies have used in the past. So that's kind of all I have. That's kind of our pricing journey on how we built our pricing at HubSpot to support both the bimodal strategy and the PLG SLG motion. Thank you.